Hello, this is Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer.
Welcome home.
Soar into tower. We are ready for takeoff.
Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
Hey, it's Amy from DVC Clubhouse.
Hey Clubbers, it's Scott from DVC Clubhouse.
Hey, it's Kathleen from DVC Clubhouse.
Welcome aboard. It's Phil from DVC Clubhouse.
Hey, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Debrief podcast brought to you by DVC Clubhouse. This is Amy, and today I am joined by Phil and Scott. Hey, guys.
Hi guys.
Welcome aboard, guys.
So today we don't have Kathleen with us because sadly, Kathleen lost her grandma, and she is in Ohio right now with family. We asked her if she wanted to join us, but she is flying back tomorrow, and she told us to go ahead and record without her. So we're here just thinking about her and sending her our love and sending her family our love.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys. You're stuck with me today.
I don't know about stuck. I mean, some of us kind of sort of like you.
Maybe a little bit. So I've seen.
Just a bit.
You can stay. It's fine.
Appreciate it.
Wow. Look at that. Yeah, I suppose you can stay. All right, whatever.
Thanks. I haven't got kicked out yet.
So I just came back from a trip, and on the day that I left, Phil flew in to surprise Scott for his birthday. And yeah, so Scott, happy belated birthday to everyone listening. Scott's birthday was January 17th.
Welcome to 45, buddy.
You just ruined it. I was just going to say dirty 30.
I can edit that part out later. I refer to it as the 15th anniversary of my 30th birthday.
That works.
So Phil sent me a text on Friday morning from I was at the Island Tower, and he sent me a text from the boardwalk. He sent me a picture from the boardwalk. So he and I were actually on property at the same time, but
Opposite sides of property, but we were inside the bubble at the same time.
exactly. And then I had to get out of there to get home I went with my daughter, Allie, my older daughter, Allie. She's a sophomore in college, and she hasn't been to Disney, or before that hadn't been to Disney in almost 2 years. So she was really itching to get back, and we were supposed to do a trip in June, the three of us together, me, Allie, and Emma, but we ended up having to cancel that, and I felt really bad about it. And so when I was looking to see when non-members, when non-poly owners rather were able to book for the Island Tower, I was able to grab a few nights, and I figured that would be a nice opportunity. It was right before Allie had to go back to school, so she and I went for 3 nights. Initially I only booked 2 nights, and then I posted this on the Facebook group. I was supposed to fly in at like we were supposed to be on a 6 a.m. flight. And as I was thinking through our plans, I was like, this is not going to work. I cannot wake up at 3 a.m. I know Allie, she goes hard at the parks. I was like, I cannot be up at 3 a.m. and on a 6 a.m. flight and then go as hard as she is going to want to go. So I ended up changing my flight to fly the day before, and then booking. I think I had a night at Saratoga, and then I switched it to somewhere else. I switched it to a Longhouse studio, and then I told you guys I was at a show with my daughter, and while I was waiting for the show to start, I was like, let me just see what's available, and lo and behold, I was able to switch over to the Island Tower. So I did not need to switch rooms, which was great. So we had 3 nights at the Island Tower at the Polynesian.
That's a move we use all the time. We're doing it in May. Like, do I really want to do that 6 a.m. flight with the kids? Because you got to get up early and they drag. Oh, darn. I guess we've just got to book another night and come in late. Oh, darn it. Okay, take my points.
Right. And it seems great at the time because those flights are typically the least expensive. And you're like, oh, that's a great deal. And then as it gets closer and as I was like trying to decide my strategy with Lightning Lane, I was like, I don't know. This seems like a bad idea. So it all worked out.
Did you get to do everything she wanted?
We did. I mean, we were in the parks only 2 days and we did all 4 parks. The first day we went to 3 parks. We went to Animal Kingdom, Magic Kingdom, and Epcot, and then back to Magic Kingdom. And then the next day we did Hollywood Studios and Epcot. And we did close to 30,000 steps both days. I mean, by the end of the second night, my feet were done.
Her dogs were barking.
They were howling. They weren't just barking, they were howling. But we did. We got to do everything. I mean, the thing that she was most excited for was to do Tiana's Bayou Adventure because Splash Mountain was her favorite ride. And so she really wanted to experience this. And she was a little disappointed. I think that she had the same reaction that most of us do, is that we kind of feel like they phoned in the story. Like the story, like they did Tiana dirty. That movie has a great story, great music. It's all about her wanting to have a restaurant, and
they drag her off to the salt mines and the food service supply business. It's very strange.
Yeah, and then trying to find these musicians, and then you get shrunken down to be the size of a firefly just for like one scene, and then you get blown up again. And then the final scene, which is pretty cool, it takes place at their house. It's not even at her restaurant. There's like a sign that says like to Prince Tiana and Prince Naveen and Princess Tiana's house. So why did we end up at their house and not at Tiana's palace? Like I don't know. So she was a little bit disappointed by that, and she was outraged by the fact that the Hatbox Ghost happens before Madame Leota summons the spirits. She was like just completely annoyed by that, which made me laugh.
I am in complete agreement with your daughter on every single point.
And because there was no festival going on, we actually left on the day that the Festival of the Arts started. So the 2 days that we were at Epcot, it honestly felt like it was like a throwback to the old days when there wasn't a festival and it wasn't just teeming with people everywhere you went. Like it was pretty pleasant to walk around, and we got food and drinks in each country, and it was really nice because it forced us to.
For the record, that's
into the
11
country.
drinks and 11 plates of food. Just pointing that out.
Well, we did it over 2 days. That's why we went.
Okay, fairly
Epcot.
Important distinction. I'm just visualizing yourself and your daughter 11 countries in.
No, and we didn't get a drink. I didn't get a drink in every country, and we did not get food in every country. So some I got both, but some we either got a drink or we got a plate of food.
All right, just make sure, Scott, did you interpret that and then visualize it the same way I did?
I did. It was a very important piece of information she left out right there.
Yeah, very important distinction.
Yeah, so initially we were not going to go to Epcot on the first day that we went to the parks. We were just going to do Animal Kingdom and then Magic Kingdom. Magic Kingdom, the lightning lanes were all kind of like spread out, and it worked better for us to be able to just stack them at the end of the night. And we didn't just want to sit around waiting. So we were like, you know what, let's just take the Epcot monorail over there some time and get some stuff done over there and then come back. And that's what we ended up doing. And so when we got to Epcot, we went through the Journey of Water, and she loved that. And, I really, and, kind of walking into Epcot with somebody who has not been there for 2 years. So like the last time she was there, I mean, they were like all the walls were up. We've kind of seen them come down in stages. And so walking in with somebody for the first time, like I felt like I was kind of walking in and seeing it like through new eyes for the first time. And also we came into the front entrance, and most of the time I'm staying on Crescent Lake. So I'm coming in through International Gateway. I really love that whole area around the statue. There are, we've been talking a lot lately about how at Magic Kingdom, there's no place to sit and there's no trees. that whole area is seating and trees. And it's so nice to just have, like, it just feels kind of neighborhoodish, like, and it has that stage and it has the
And also
cafe and it has,
arguably the very best music on property.
yeah, it is a great spot. And, clearly I couldn't do this with her because she just was go, go, go. And also it was a little bit cool. So kind of like sitting down for a long period of time, like you'd get a little chilly. You needed to get up and walk around a little bit. But I'm really looking forward to at some point just going and like sitting there for a little bit and people watching and taking it all in because I think that area is just, it's a great spot in Epcot to sit and relax and just take in everything around you.
Speaking of chilly, it is a brisk 55 here in Florida today. I know.
You
I'm
don't want to
sorry.
know the temperature up here.
I had to say it. I'm sorry. I had to bring it up because it's probably what, 2 where you're at?
It is currently a balmy 17 degrees in Rhode Island right now.
And here I am complaining about 55.
It's super cold in New Jersey
Hey, the
too, and
good
we got
news
a
is
lot
you
of
have a
snow.
lightweight hoodie to throw on to protect against that chilly weather.
Magically appeared in my car in my back seat somehow. I'm not sure where it came from, but well, it sounds like you had a good time, Amy. Like I listened to you saying what she wanted to do over the course of what, 2 days. Well, it turned out to be a little bit more than that, but I was telling Kathleen, I'm like, that's like literally everything in 2 days. That's going to be rough. But it sounds like you guys were just go, go, go the whole entire time.
We were, and she's like a speed walker too. She's taller than me. She has like, so I feel like she's got just like that little bit extra length in her legs, and she's just a fast walker. So I felt like I was like running to keep up with her, but we had a great time. Like we really, I mean, and even though we were go go go, we did have opportunities to just kind of sit and relax and chat. And we went to Shikisai also. That was our only advanced dining reservation. Everything else we just did like walk up or just grab snacks. We went to the Wailulu Bar and Grill the first night when after we checked into the Island Tower. And that experience was like, it was just okay for me.
I wondered how you'd feel about that.
It was, I mean, we ordered the poke, the spam musubi, the ribs, and the ahi tuna crisps. And the tuna crisps were our favorite thing. Everything else was just kind of, the ribs were overcooked, so they were a little chewy and they were just smothered in sauce and they just weren't great. And the spam musubi was okay, but it was just so salty. And the poke just lacked flavor. And the thing that I really found to be disappointing was like I've heard people raving about the cocktails, but they were in the smallest glasses filled with ice that I
Hmm.
swear after 3 sips, the drink was gone and they were, 1650 and tasted really watered down. Like it just really, I tried both the margarita and the Mai Tai and I just, for that price, I can't see myself. I thought that would be a place that even if I was staying in the OG studios, that I would walk over maybe and have like a cocktail over there versus like say going to Tambu. But I think that the cocktails at Tambu Lounge are better.
I agree. I had the banana old fashioned and I felt the same way. It was just watered down and it maybe I just had high hopes for it and it just didn't live up to my standards, but it wasn't it was just okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely room for improvement there. And the space, I think, is beautiful. And the view is great. I mean, the thing is that island tower, those theme park view rooms, hands down, probably the best view I've had in any Disney Vacation Club room that I've ever stayed at. Because you have this kind of bird's eye view of Seven Seas Lagoon, and I mean, you could literally see everything. It was just, it was such a cool vantage point, and the balconies were a really nice size. So, like the first night after we went to Wailulu, we came back and we sat on our balcony to watch the fireworks, and that was, I mean, that was like definitely a highlight of staying there was being able to sit on our balcony and hear the music and see that view, I was like, wow, this is something special right here. But you know me, I like to take advantage of my points as best as I can. And that room for that night was 26 points. And a standard view at the boardwalk that night is 9. And granted, it's hard to get the standard view boardwalk studios, but I just don't think that it's worth 17 more points. For like that view, absolutely stunning, but and I guess it just really comes down to what your priorities are, right? Like if that's something that's really important to you is to have that view every single night, then and you have the points to do it, then do it. But first, like somebody like me, you can get almost 3 nights at Boardwalk for the same price as one night there, which, that's just how I view things. Like that's the DVC lens that I view things through.
I think there's 3 different takes on that, though. I think number 1, we're looking at 3 different generations of DVC members. We're looking at the earlier generation of membership where you expect those point values to be what we see at Old Key West, Boardwalk, Boulder Ridge, Beach Club. You're looking at the second generation of members, which would be my generation, who is used to the Polynesian, the Bay Lake Tower, those point values. And now you've got a third generation who's used to the Riviera point values and what they're doing over there. So I think that you're right. The lens we look at it through is very different. I will also say I had the opportunity to book a theme park view when I booked my May trip at Poly because I was able to get in there that very first day for owners. I couldn't justify that view. Not for the 1 bedroom, not for the amount of time we're going for. I was perfectly happy to trade time in room for a different view.
Well, and I definitely see, like, for somebody like you who owns it, Polly, being able to stay in a 1 or 2 bedroom, that's a game changer. And so in that regard, the view kind of doesn't matter because it's just really the space that you're going for. And those viewing terraces where you can view the fireworks from are great. I personally never went up to one during the fireworks,
Well,
so
you
I don't
didn't
know how
have to
crowded.
because you had a balcony of your own.
Exactly. So I don't know how crowded it gets there. I don't know how early you need to show up there to be able to get a good spot, because the one thing I'll say is if you get there early and you are standing up against that railing and you need to stand kind of far back, I don't think that your view is going to be as great as if you could be right up against the railing. So I don't know. I don't know how that plays out. But you can also see the fireworks from down below just standing on the walking path. So there are a lot of places over at that island tower that you can watch the fireworks from. So I mean there's no shortage there. And for your family, being able to have the 1 bedroom will be a game changer.
Yeah, the other point I was going to make too, number 3, was you have about 18 more years to soak up those low point stays in those views at Boardwalk and elsewhere. But as soon as those contracts are out, those are going to go through the roof. There's no doubt in my mind they are going to match, or Poly is going to pale in comparison to what those point values are going to be
Yeah,
in those rooms.
you'll be missing those 9-point studios for
For
sure.
sure. Definitely. And the
Question,
only
Amy.
other
I got
thing
a
that go ahead.
Sorry, you brought up something that made me think about when we were there at the Poly Tower, we ate at the restaurant. But when I walked around the corner to the elevators to go up to the rooms, do you have to have your Magic Band to use the elevator to get up there?
Yes.
Okay, so it's like exclusive access. You can't just go up there and watch the fireworks from there unless you're staying there.
Correct.
Gotcha.
And
Okay.
even if you get, for instance, like even if you were to get onto the elevator on the 3rd floor, you still need to tap your Magic Band to go up. So it's not even like you need to do it just from the lobby level. You need to have it with you on every level so that if you were to somehow sneak in with, to the elevator and then get off on the wrong level, you couldn't, because those viewing terraces are, I think, on 3, 4, 5, and 6. And say you were to get off at the 2nd floor and then want to go up, you can only go down unless you have a Magic Band.
Okay.
So
Well, that's
Which
good.
I know it stinks if you're going there to visit, but I can tell you from somebody who owns there and is going to stay there, it is kind of nice to know that the only people I'll be fighting over viewing spots with are other people staying at the tower. So I know
Right.
it's a little exclusive, but as a guest there, I think you probably appreciate it more.
Sure.
Absolutely. And I think because there are only two viewing terraces that face the Magic Kingdom. The other two face are on the other side of the building, and they face the golf course, which right now I will tell you is a mess. I mean, you are looking at a dig site and a parking lot, so your view is really nothing to write home about right now. Hopefully, when the golf course is done, it'll be prettier to look over that way. But if I was staying there and had a room that was on that side that was overlooking the golf course, and I couldn't get into a viewing terrace because somebody who wasn't staying there was there, came and was taking up that space, I'd be annoyed. I mean, you should definitely. I think that that was the right call to make those, and also because you don't want people who are not staying there to just be like loitering around the hotel. Like that's kind of because there are guest rooms on the floors where those viewing terraces are. So you don't want to have people just who aren't staying there just coming and going. I think that this was definitely the right call. The other thing that I will say about staying at the Island Tower is it is a pretty decent walk to the buses and if you wanted to walk over to the Ticket and Transportation Center to take the monorail to Epcot, you're definitely better staying at a Longhouse studio because it took us like a solid 15 minutes from the time we got off of the Epcot monorail to walk back to the Island Tower. And it's an 8-minute walk to get to the buses because, the buses are pretty like well past the lobby once you come out the front entrance. So just be prepared that and right now because they are doing construction on like where the boat dock is, it's not even a straight shot in the marina where you can just like walk straight down and then make the right. You need to go all the way around the pool or through the pool area and then past Captain Cook's to get back onto to the path to get over to the Island Tower. So there is quite a bit of walking once you arrive back on whatever mode of transportation you're taking, which is fine in the morning. But it's like, at night after we had a 9:55 p.m. Oga's reservation and my feet that was the second day and that was the day that my feet were like dead. And I said to Allie, let's just take an Uber. I just need to take an Uber right to the Island Tower because I cannot take a bus and then walk all the way from the bus stop back. My feet are done. And so we did that. You're able to take an Uber right to the Island Tower, which is nice. So that is an option for you. And then it's about a 9-minute walk over to the Grand Floridian, which that is a really nice that's a nice walk because you walk past the wedding pavilion and then you walk past the villas building. And so you have an option then to grab food over at the Grand Floridian and not need to worry about waiting for a bus or a monorail. You can just walk over there. So I think that was that was actually like an unexpected kind of highlight for me of staying at the Island Tower. I kept thinking about having, just all of the access to the things at Polynesian, but it was really having that access to Grand Floridian that I felt like was really nice.
We walked over there when we ate at the restaurant, and it was like you said, it was what, less than 10 minutes, and then it's like 10 minutes to get to Magic Kingdom. So maybe a little bit more than 10 minutes, but it's roughly 20 minutes. So you figure from Poly to Magic Kingdom to walk, nice little 20-minute walk. That's not too bad.
Yeah, it's not too bad. And then also, a lot of people had expressed concerns about the wait times at the monorail. And we never saw a line that was now granted again, I think that we were there at a time when it was like actually less crowded, which was the first time that I feel like I've been able to say that in a long time. We always were able to get on the first monorail that pulled into the station at Polynesian. There was never a time that we waited in a line that extended back into the indoors. We, always were able to just walk up and grab one. And also, they did have those bigger boats running more frequently than just having like, those smaller boats. The smaller boats did run in the middle of the day, but it seemed like in the morning and the evenings, those bigger boats were running for longer so that they could, and they were not stopping. Oh no, I'm sorry, that's not true. We did stop at Grand Floridian and then back at Polynesian, but they were loading those bigger boats so that they could accommodate more people. So it still remains to be seen when it's really crowded, how that plays out with, just crowd control on those different modes of transportation, but it was not an issue while we were there.
That is one of the toss ups, and I've said it before. I think that transportation is going to be their biggest challenge just because of where they put it. There's no easy access to things. But as much as I love that new tower and I love the idea of it, I really just miss having only those little launches coming up to the poly dock. They were so perfect on Seven Seas Lagoon, especially in that location. I almost feel like those big boats just seem out of place making a pickup there.
Yeah, it's definitely a different vibe. Like it definitely feels like they're just shuttling people versus being kind of part of like the vibe of the resort. But, overall, I enjoyed my stay there. I think that the studios, they only sleep 4, which for some families that won't work. But
Hours.
they were quite spacious. Even with both beds pulled out. I mean, I posted a video on our YouTube channel of the room on our last day because I wanted to be able to post the video and be able to talk about the things in the room so that people could, it's like I had time in the room. And I mean, I kind of feel like they threw in this dishwasher. I mean, maybe it's for a sustainability and effort so that people aren't using paper products, but we used 2 cups and 1 plate. I mean, we certainly were not gonna use the dishwasher for that. So, I don't know. I feel like the dishwashers in the studio are a little bit excessive, and I don't know if they did that as a way to, like, make up for not being able to sleep 5, but it just feels like it's excessive and probably unnecessary for most people that are gonna be staying in a studio.
I gotta ask Amy, based on your stay there, is the Poly Tower someplace you would consider buying points at?
No. And actually, I have to say, there is I mean, Scott, you've been there. Like that lobby is kind of vast. It's like big, but there's like really nothing happening in it. But
Right.
the one thing that is happening in it is that there's a DVC sales desk, and the one guy when I was there, like he put on like the hard sell. He approached me. I was like taking my video, and he approached me and asked me if I was a DVC member, and I said yes, and he asked where I owned, and I told him, and he asked me if I was in the market for more points, and I said, not now, maybe a few years down the road. And he asked me if I would consider buying at the Island Tower, and I said, "No, actually, I'm kind of have my sight set on the Lakeshore Lodge because
Hmm.
I'm a Bay Lake person." And he said to me, "Well, what about 25? Would you add just 25 at the Island Tower?" And I was like, wow, like that. This is the first time that I ever really felt like I was kind of like really being sold to
Hmm.
by a DVC guide. Typically, like they'll ask the question and, they'll, and if maybe they'll take your name and then your guide will follow up with you. But this guy was like really putting on a little bit of pressure, I felt like, because he wasn't taking no for an answer. And I kind of felt like, look, I'm already a DVC member and I already told you that down the road I'm probably going to buy at this property that you're building. So let me just get back to taking my video.
It's interesting. You've got to wonder if they've begun to price themselves out because poly on the resale market is still moving very well and those contracts are in demand, yet they're feeling the need to hard sell the direct points. You've got to wonder if that's starting to hurt them by pushing these prices.
Well, and I mean, I felt like he's trying to convince me to add 25 points. And I'm like, the room that I'm staying in is 26 points a night during January on a Wednesday and Thursday. Like this is as low as these points are going to get. 25 isn't getting me even one night in the theme park view.
That's
So
crazy.
yeah, so I mean, that was just one thing that I was like, wow, that I've never after all of these years of being a DVC member, I've never had somebody kind of apply sales pressure like that. I was kind of taken aback by it, but overall, I mean, like I said, overall, we had a great time. Probably, I probably wouldn't stay. I will definitely stay at Poly again, but I think I think at this point, I'm going to stay at a standard view studio in the longhouses because they have the 2 bathrooms. And because that's another thing about the Island Tower studio bathroom. It's weird that you have to walk by the shower to get to the toilet. So even though the toilet is behind a door, if somebody is taking a shower and that person wants privacy, you cannot access the toilet until they're done. So when you're looking at, should I stay at a longhouse studio or should I stay at an Island Tower studio? I mean, the longhouse studios have the 2 bathrooms, which are, a big selling point, and Sleep 5. So, I mean, I think that those are those are things that you just need to take into consideration about who you're traveling with and how you use the space.
Those have always been one of my favorite rooms. It's going to be hard to beat that. We actually canceled. We had a regular studio at the Island Tower and a duo studio, but we canceled the regular studio just because of the points. So we're gonna try the duo studio and see what that's like. But yeah, it's gonna be hard for anything over there to beat the longhouses because I love the way the rooms are set up there.
And those are so spacious too. So, I mean, as spacious as I felt the Island Tower studio was, the Longhouse studios are, I mean, they are the biggest studio, I think, at Disney World.
Yeah.
So, anyway, Phil, enough about the Island Tower. Let's hear about your quick little trip to celebrate Scott's 30th birthday.
Yeah, Phil,
Surprise.
let's hear about this, Phil. I'd like to hear how this all came about because I had no idea. No idea at all. So kudos to you and Kathleen for completely keeping me in the dark about this, even with all of your little comments that you made about 110 more days until you can come down to Disney and blah blah blah.
I can't
I
give
have
away all the secrets.
I have zero trust for you anymore. Zero trust.
You know what? It was totally worth the trade-off, buddy. I got to be honest. You can distrust me all you want. It was worth it to see your face when you spun around and there I was standing in the lobby. So it doesn't go back that far. Maybe a month or less. This was very short term. So she had just kind of texted off and said that, you had jokingly asked when I was flying in for your birthday. So at first I just kind of laughed it off like, yeah, we're not coming until May. And like 2 minutes later, I'm thinking to myself, I bet you I could actually make it down there. So I talked to Em real quick and I said, hey, here's what's going on. Do you mind? And she resisted a little bit at first because I was running off to Disney without her. And I want to say within 30 minutes, we had it planned. I texted Kathleen. I said, hey, can I stay at your house? She said, yeah, you're always welcome. Why? I said, because I get in at 9:30 in the morning. She's like, what are you talking about? I said, I'm flying in. I get in at 9:30 in the morning. I will be there. So the hardest part actually was not slipping up when we were on for all our podcasts and all our conversations. And I didn't want to tell anybody. Kathleen had let Amy in on it, I guess, last week or something. And I said to Kathleen, the more people that know, the more chance we're going to slip up because I absolutely have this first and foremost in my mind not to slip. And I still did a dozen times. And yeah, I kept sliding in, Amy would send these things from Poly Tower and I'd send back a screenshot that shows 110 days until we get there. Or we'd talk about it and I'd say, no, can't wait till May. We're not going back till May. And then there was that comment on the Facebook page about when is your next Disney trip? And I'm like, oh, no, I've only got one planned until May. And that was an outright lie because I couldn't say I'm going to be there in 2.5 weeks to celebrate Scott's birthday. So, yeah, I think we did a pretty good job of keeping it under wraps.
There was a lot of misdirection there. So kudos. And I was investigating. I was looking at my Disney experience because we're connected on there. So I'm looking at everything, trying to see like if there's anything happening. You guys did a good job. There were no clues. There was nothing at all that kind of tipped me off that you were going to be there.
You could have sussed it out if you had gone that one extra step that you thought about going. I had to make theme park reservations to get into Epcot. And before I did it, I locked you out of seeing my plans on my Disney experience because I had the feeling, even if you were just pulling up the plans in front of you, you were going to see it. And you said you almost looked to see if anybody had blocked you out, and you didn't. And thank goodness, because you would have been able to sniff it out.
Oh, it would have tipped me off immediately if I would have seen that. But yeah, you guys did a hell of a job. And what a great surprise too.
So sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I want you to tell the story because it's
So from
hilarious.
my perspective, I flew in about, oh gosh, I took a 6 a.m. flight or something. There were only two nonstop flights available. One was at 6 a.m. and the other was later in the day. And the later in the day would not have gotten us there in time because I talked to Kathleen and I said, I'm going to get dinner reservations because we all know where you like to eat the most. So I went on, and again, I couldn't do it on the Disney Experience app. I had to go through Open Table to make the reservation at Rosa Mexicano, so Scott would not know what was going on, which, by the way, almost gave him a hint that day, but we'll get to that in a moment.
Right.
So I took the early morning flight, got down there, I don't know, 9:30ish in the morning, somewhere near there, took my time, went over to property via rideshare, and then convinced the Bell Services people at Dolphin to hold my bag for the day so I didn't have to take it through Disney security. Wandered around Epcot for a little bit. It was the opening day of Festival of the Arts. But to be honest with you, I got bored kind of quick. You know, everyone talks about going solo to Disney. I've done it a couple of times. It's just not my thing. I want to walk around with my wife. I want to walk around with friends. I want to walk around with my kids. So at some point, I just went back to Dolphin and sat inside the lobby, opened up my iPad, got on the phone, and started working for a couple of hours because you guys were running behind. So I'm texting back and forth with Kathleen the whole time. She's giving me an update on your day. And finally, she says, all right, we're parking. We're on the way in. So I texted her, whatever you do, do not come to the right when you go in the Dolphin lobby. I'm hiding over by Fuel. Go right up the center and I'll sneak in behind you. So I went and hid inside a Fuel. And had you looked to the right when you walked in the door, you would have seen my little face peeking around the corner, kind of sideways as you walked by. So I came out of Fuel, started my camera so I could record, and then gave you a call to see how your birthday was and to wish you a happy birthday. I wanted to push it a little longer, but you were kind of spinning around in place, just talking, and then did a double take when you saw me behind you.
Yeah, so we get there and we just walked into the Dolphin. I don't know if we were going to go to Finn's first or if we were planning on going to Epcot at that time, but right as we get in, my phone rings and it's Phil. And I'm thinking Phil's just gonna, he's calling to wish me a happy birthday. No big deal. We start talking. He's like, hey, buddy, what are you doing? So I'm like, well, we just got to the Dolphin. And no sooner did I say that, I think that's when I turned around and, I did a double take. I couldn't even believe that you were standing there. But yeah, it totally caught me by surprise.
All I kept texting Kathleen for days was, I can't wait to see his face. I cannot wait to see his face. I can't wait to see his face when he turns around and I'm standing there. I'm just looking for that shock on your face because I knew completely out of context it was going to take you a second to put two and two together because you don't see it coming. And it
No,
was 1,000% worth it.
it took me a little bit to register what was going on, but once I did, I was like, I couldn't believe it. And like I said, I put it on the Facebook group, that meant a lot. Like I know you got a lot going on, family, business, things like that. So for somebody just to fly down and hang out with a buddy for a birthday, that was pretty damn cool. Thanks, Phil. And we had a
You're
good
welcome,
time.
buddy. We had a heck of a time, didn't we? So we left Dolphin. We wandered over into Epcot for a little bit, walked around Festival of the Arts. And you got to get something signed by Rob Katz, right?
Always. There was a new Donald and Daisy. I think they're on the monorail. Actually, I have it right behind me. Yes, I have to get a frame for it. But we love Rob Katz's stuff. I think I have maybe 4 of his prints now. So we got a Rob Katz print and he was there and we got that signed. But yeah, it was a perfect day weather-wise. We were just strolling around Epcot, opening day, Festival of the Arts,
Got to take some amazing photos.
broing around, taking a few pictures. But yeah, we got to check out all the artwork and I think I only got one thing from the booth because we were going to go to Rosa. But then we walked over, had dinner at Rosa, got to see our buddy Jordan.
Jordan was waiting for us, had already skipped his break to make sure that he got us in his section. We got a table with Jordan. Had some amazing chicken tortilla soup. I hadn't tried that before.
That's Kathleen's go-to. She loves that soup. As much as she loves everything at Rosa, I think that's her favorite thing.
Yeah, backtrack a second. You had to listen to Kathleen. So she offers to stand in this really long line to get the print signed by Rob Katz. She says, no, you guys just go wander around. Just go hang out. Like she was totally pushing us off on this weird, awkward bro date thing that we had going. So we go and line up to get our photos taken right in front of the big Festival of the Arts display. And Scott tells the poor girl, just give us the corniest, goofiest couples like photos you can take. We had people in line laughing hysterically. They just did not know what to make of us.
Not one bit. But I think the couple behind us wanted to do the same poses after we walked away.
We made it look good. I think my personal favorite is actually us together making a heart symbol in front of us. It was just fantastic.
Which, by the way, looked absolutely nothing but like a heart, but we tried our best.
No, we gave it good old effort, didn't we?
We did. But yeah, that was a heck of a surprise, and we had such a great day. And Rosa, we got stuffed, and then we went to Finn's afterwards.
No, we went to
Finn's
before. And then we left there. We went back over to Epcot because there were a few more things we wanted to see at night. And we thought we were going to ride Guardians of the Galaxy.
That's
but
right.
That did not work out. That ride was down. So we walked over there and decided it wasn't worth it. Walked around a little more, saw some more artwork, and then called it a night and went back to Casa de Huff, which is absolutely a deluxe resort. I got to hang out with my concierge, Parker.
Who loved you, by the way.
Parker loved me when you weren't in the room. It was the funniest thing. So I walk in and Parker's not so sure. And then I sit down and Parker comes up and is immediately my best buddy. I stand up and Parker doesn't know what to do. She goes and hides again. Then all night long, she keeps coming over to my door to make sure I'm still there. I get up in the morning. You guys are still getting ready. She runs right out of the room, jumps up on the couch, snuggles up against me, falls into my lap, wants me to pet her. She's snorting. She's loving life. She hears you guys move. She abandons me on the couch, runs back to your room. You both walk out, and she won't come near me again because she's scared to death of that scary guy on the couch. She's a fake.
Yeah. She's indecisive. But she warmed up to you pretty quick.
Oh, yeah, we were buddies.
We've had people stay here before, and all she does is keep a 15-foot, distance, and all she does is bark and growl at them the whole time. So you were on her good side, believe me.
Yeah, she was up beside me on the couch out on the lanai within 5 minutes of walking through the door. And then the next day we get to hang out in Celebration. I've now decided that I want to live there and never leave the grounds except to go to Disney. It's my new aspiration in life.
How cool is that? And I mean, if anybody has never been to Celebration, as many times as, some people go to Disney, a quick 10, 15-minute drive over to Celebration, the town that Disney built, we used to live there, and I kind of regret moving. I love where I'm at now, but I do regret moving out of Celebration.
I told Em it's like a Disney resort and a theme park and a 5-star gated community all got together and had a baby. It's just incredible. I'm so immensely in love with it.
It's
I've
Pleasantville,
never been
but not
there.
as
I have
creepy.
to get there.
It's really nice. And it's just, you just saw like a little bit of it. I mean, we started walking around the lakes. You take a little boardwalk stroll between lakes and it goes on for like 10 miles. So like I was telling Phil, like I used to walk every day and it would be nothing for me to get lost. I had to Google how to get back to my house. We did that. We got to eat at the diner over there for breakfast.
We did, which is really cool.
And then we just decided to go to Magic Kingdom and stroll around Magic Kingdom for a little bit, which I don't think we really did much. We just kind of walked around, got some Dole Whip, and
yeah, we just kind of did the circuit, got some Dole Whip. We never actually went on any rides or into any attractions. We just kind of soaked up the ambiance and got to hang out with friends. It was a pretty cool 1-day-long trip.
Magic Kingdom was busy that day. When Small World's over 10 minutes, it's a busy day.
Yeah, Small World was like 35 minutes when we walked by. It was insane.
Yeah, it was crazy. But what a good time. I'm glad that you came down because that was, like I said, that was a hell of a surprise. And told Kathleen, I said, that's a birthday that I'll never forget. It's one of the most memorable birthdays I've ever had. So totally cool.
Well, I'm glad that it worked. I spent all of 3 weeks planning it, so.
Now we need Em to come down.
I think they're working on it, if I'm not mistaken.
Good. Maybe for that race.
Yeah, I think they're talking about it. We'll see how that works out. I don't know. Either way, I told her that was part of the deal. She allowed me to get down and spend a birthday with you. I told her that the return would be that I would fly her down to spend a couple of days with you guys so she and Kathleen could hang out.
Anytime. You guys are welcome anytime.
Oh, no,
You
the
too,
kids have
Amy.
taken you up on this. You said that the kids could come and stay with you anytime. Mackenzie wants to know if that means that from now on, when we go down, we can just stay in your house. I said,
Sure,
no, we still have our DVC in the membership, but.
No, you guys know anytime you want to come down, we got plenty of room here, so you guys are welcome anytime at all. Amy, it's 20 points for you. 20 points.
I'm a value girl.
You're a value girl.
I
Give me
think
9
that was a
points.
compliment. I'm not sure what that does. That mean that she wants to hang with you? She considers you value, or she considers you deluxe? I'm not really sure.
I'm going to say she considers me deluxe. We'll just go with that.
Perfect. All right. Well, I think that wraps up last week. What do you think, guys?
Sounds good. Once again, thank you, Phil. Amazing. Appreciate it. Maybe one day I'll surprise you in Rhode Island.
I said it on the page. You know, one of the things my father left with me before he passed was you will have many acquaintances in life, but very few friends.
Amen.
All right. We good?
Yep.
We're good.
All right. Well, we thank you as always for playing along with us. If you guys could head on over to Apple Podcast, give us a like, a 5-star review, we would very much appreciate it. Maybe I'll show up and surprise you on a birthday. Amy?
And don't forget to follow us on YouTube, Instagram, and
Nope,
well,
can't say that.
maybe
I don't know if we have
I don't even
TikTok.
know. TikTok? Do we have TikTok? Do we not have TikTok? At least on YouTube, you can go over and you can check out the Island Tower studio tour and join our Facebook group and join in the conversation there. And until next time, we'll DVC you real soon.
Bye, guys.
See you guys.
And so our journey comes to an end.
Oh, no, please, can't we go back to page 1 and do it all over again?
Started this thing together, and that's how we'll finish it.
Because that, my friends, is where the magic lives.